Good morning, learners. Let us start with our practical machine learning classes. Before going into the practicalities of these machine learning concepts, let us first see how to use Anaconda platform in order to start using a Jupyter notebook in which we actually write our code for this machine learning task. So here we have the Anaconda software that can be downloaded online. You can just type in your Google bar Anaconda download so that you will get the appropriate guidance or documentation. Various documentation sources are available from which you can learn how to download this Anaconda platform. Now, once you download it according to your Windows or Linux, whether it is a 64-bit system or a 32-bit system, according to that, you have to select that appropriate executable file to be downloaded. And then after downloading, you can install it. And once you install, you will get a screen like this. This Anaconda, once it is installed, you'll get an icon on the desktop, or you can type it in your search bar near your search bar here. In this part, you can type Anaconda Navigator, where you'll get the icon. Once you click on that, you will get this interface. Now, in this Anaconda Navigator platform, you will have, in this Anaconda platform, you'll have lots of tools like Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, Orange, PowerShell, Qt Console, Spider, GlueWiz, RStudio. So if you want to execute or perform your experiments using R language, you can install this RStudio. But if you want to write your Python scripts without any, say, cells or without any individual execution of the commands, if you want to write the script, all commands together, if you want to execute, then you can go for Spider, where you can type your entire Python script and start executing. And if you want to write your commands and check each command one after the other, and also associate some good amount of documentation. And for easy sharing of the files, you can go for Jupyter Notebook. Generally, we recommend Jupyter Notebook because the interface is very user friendly and you can share it with your peers very easily by saving it as .ipynb, saving it as a notebook with .ipynb extension, and that can be attached to your mails when you're sharing your work with your colleagues or friends. And once they open it in this Jupyter Notebook environment again, they can start executing your work by just pressing Shift Enter and experience what you have actually experimented with. So the usage or sharing will be very easy with this Jupyter Notebook. So when you click on this launch, it will launch in a browser where you will get a home page like this. So this home page will contain all your system files, right? In this, if you want to work with a new file, you can go for new. You can see this option here on the right hand side. On that, you can click on new and press on Python. Means you are going to open a Python Jupyter notebook where you type all your Python commands and start executing them. So when you see this interface, you can identify a cell here. This is a cell where you can type your commands. You can find all options also. These are all familiar options to you, right? File where you can open a new notebook or open an existing notebook, or if you want to make a copy, save as, rename, save and checkpoint. Checkpoints will be created for your work eventually. Whenever you click on save, then revert to the checkpoint. If you want to go back to your recent checkpoint, then you can click on revert to checkpoint, then print preview. Or if you want to download this notebook and attach it to your mail and send it to somebody else, right? all these options are self-explanatory. You can easily understand them. In edit, you have cut cells, copy cells, create a new cell, move the cell up and down. You can explore on them very easily on your own because they are very easy to understand, right? So the main things here we need to understand is about the kernel. Kernels will help us to work with different options like interrupt. Say your your command execution goes into an infinite loop. In such cases, if you want to interrupt that execution and check where it has gone wrong and then start from beginning. For that, you have to interrupt the infinite loop, right? For that, you can click interrupt. And if you want to restart the kernel from beginning, then you can do restart. And sometimes once you execute your commands and get all the outputs, you want to clear them off so that you want to send only the commands to your colleagues. In such cases, you can just click restart and clear output. Or if you are explaining this notebook to students, you don't want them to see the output. In such cases, you can go to restart and clear output. And if you want to run all the commands once again, so that you wanted to check some new code in the last cell, say you have crossed some 100 cells, then you want to add a new cell with some new command, and that cell requires some imports that have been done in the previous cells. So you need not take the trouble of executing each and every command again and again. You just have to restart and run all so that all the commands will be run, and finally you can add some new command to the new cells, the recently what you wanted to add. Right? If some connection is lost, you can go to reconnect, and if you want to shut down this notebook, you can click on shutdown. Right? And other options are not so relevant to us. So we can start with this. Now, if you want to type some command like this, a simple mathematical operation, 3 plus 5. And in order to execute this, you have an option here, run. See, I am hovering my mouse cursor here, run. When you click on that, you can get the output, right? So this is the cell where you type your commands, and once you execute that, you'll get the output immediately after that. Now, if you want to run it with a keyboard command, then you can just press Shift plus Enter. Shift plus Enter. Shift plus Enter. So when I clicked that, I got the output, right? And one more important thing to remember here is we have an option of the cells. We are typing our commands into the cells where it can be tagged as a code or a markdown. When you type it, when you select it as markdown, then you can add some documentation to it. Say I want to add some documentation like this is my first class. Right? So when you execute it by pressing Shift Enter, that will be added as a bold text. Okay? So this particular cell is tagged as a markdown cell, which indicates that it will not be executed by the Python compiler, but it is just added for markdown. It is just taken for documentation purpose. Right? So this is given as this is my first class. Now when I double click on this, I can make modifications to the cell. I don't want this as big as this. Then I can just type two hash symbols which reduces the font, or one more hash symbol which reduces the font further. When I execute this, you can see the text being rendered as a small bold text rather than a bigger one that we have seen earlier. Right? So according to the hash symbols we add to it, the size can be controlled. Now let us meet in the next class with further instructions to work with this Jupyter notebooks.